The Brew House was created to capture and share with you the long history of the Genesee Brewery, but the brewery itself isn't half as interesting as the beer and the people who make it. Visit GeneseeBrewHouse.com. And welcome. This is the original Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brew House. I'm Bill Pucko, joined this week by Steve Hausmann. It's good to have you back from the WBEE Morning Coffee Club.
Yeah, I've been here for a while. Good to be back, guys.
Yeah. My Catalana co-host, as always, 13 WHAM News.
Good to be here.
And it's our pleasure to welcome in, at the start of the season, the Director of Communications with the Rochester Knighthawks indoor lacrosse team, Craig Rybczynski.
Yeah, glad to be back.
Good to see it.
And the play-by-play guy, by the way.
Which is how long now?
It's my 15th year.
That's pretty impressive. And it's a field that, there aren't a lot of, right, across the country, lacrosse play-by-play guys.
No, it's definitely a very niche position.
The industry corner. Look, the Knighthawks opened up on Saturday, and what struck me is that, they're going head-to-head with the NFL playoffs. You got Syracuse basketball in a big game. How do you, as an organization, I know there's not much you can do about it, but try to position yourself to be successful on a night when there are a lot of options?
Yeah, I mean, it is tough. I mean, that's when you got to offer, special discounts to family members, and you really try to push groups heavily. And one of the big things we did pre-season is we increased our season ticket base almost 1,000.
Nice.
By offering a double down program where season ticket holders could invite friends. They would get free season tickets, and the hope is that next year they will purchase the season tickets. So we start off this year about 1,000 more than we did last year.
So you're never blindsided by this. I mean, this is seen in advance, saying this is going to be difficult.
Oh yeah, we expect to go up against, the Amherst had their big night the night before their 60th anniversary. So you got to do the best you can to get people in the seats.
What kind of crowd do you get?
7,900.
That's all right.
Yeah, not bad at all.
And what struck me too is that with the Rochester Knighthawks, among the local teams that we've got, the overhead seems really high. It's tougher for the Knighthawks, I think, to make it than any of these other teams. Partially, I guess, the number of games that they have.
Yeah, I mean, it's 9 home games. You have a preseason game and then hopefully playoffs. And generating revenue, you've got a small piece of the concessions. You don't have any parking. So basically, it's ticket sales and corporate sponsorship.
I was going to say, in terms of getting fans there, you think about it, the difference between you and the Amherst, or certainly the Red Wings. If you're a fan and you want to go to an Amherst game, I mean, you look at the calendar, there's a bunch of opportunities there. But that's why your season ticket base is such a big thing. Plus, and having them bring other people with them, because you look on that calendar, their schedule has to fit with yours when only 9 dates. It's more like an NFL schedule, basically, where there's certain days that you have.
And 9 is better than it used to be.
And certainly more so than even that is you have to get fans to go the first time.
Yeah.
That's when you hook them. You got to say, I've always thought about going, but once you're there, you have them hooked.
Well, that's why we have the preseason game where we give away, all the tickets are free. And we usually have 9,000 to 10,000 people there, and that's a month in advance, so that gives us some build-up to the opener.
We said every time we've had you in, we talk about Knighthawks, it's as good a game as there is in town. I think people would say, it's the best fan experience of all the teams in town, regardless of what your preference of sport is. It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, it's where people start their night out. They go to a Knighthawks game first. They're watching the best athletes at their sport. It's the best lacrosse players in the world. 2 hours of music, hitting, scoring. I don't think you can beat it.
And they're good.
They win. That's what I was going to say. That helps too. But we've talked about that dynamic of winning. And I had this conversation with somebody at the Amherst game the other night. It felt like an old-time Amherst game because the old-time guys were there and the fans were into it. It was 90-some hundred people, and they actually seemed to care whether they won or lost because it was a good and close game. The Knighthawks have that. The Red Wings have, I mean, let's be honest, the Red Wings have very little of that. Yeah, you want to see the home team win, but there's another game tomorrow and another game after
And what am I going to eat this inning, too?
It is, and it becomes how important is the game. Amherst games have changed that way. They're a little more like a Red Wings game is now and less, whereas the Knighthawks, yeah, it's a fun fan experience, but absolutely, your fans want that team to win.
Oh, yeah, they live and die with that team.
And what do you got coming up? A quick pop for the schedule?
We've got Toronto coming in on the next weekend, And then after that, we've got Georgia on the 30th. So that's going to be a big game. The Thompsons are coming in. They're both first overall picks, so it's going to be a good one.
Excellent. This is the original Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. We have some sportsmanship issues from Wisconsin to discuss next. For over 25 years, Hillside Works Scholarship Connection has empowered youth to embrace their dreams of college and careers. Thanks to a dedicated staff and employment partners, every year Hillside helps more than 4,000 young men and women move closer to their life goals. Welcome back. This is the original Rochester Press Box, presented by the mighty Genesee Brew House. This portion of the Press Box is brought to you by our friends at the Hillside family of agencies. Sportsmanship issues. Something interesting came up, Stevie, in Wisconsin, where they said, these organized chants like, air ball and that kind of stuff. We've all heard them. And like McQuaid and Fairport have really perfected them, I might add, constitute unsportsmanlike conduct, and they're banning them from athletic events.
At high schools.
Yeah. Where are the lines here? Like, I don't expect you to agree with that, but in the spirit of it, it's got to mean something.
I think you'll have to teach these high school kids to send nice, polite tweets to each other. Like I'm sorry, hashtag miss the rim. I'm so sorry. You'll get another shot at it later in the game. It's just all. Remember in colleges? Remember when the guys would shoot free throws and in the stands behind the nets, they'd hold up like centerfolds and. Anything to distract them. I guess that's not happening anymore.
Is this just Wisconsin being Wisconsin?
No, I think what's happening is, I think if you're an administrator in a school, I think they're getting to the point where they're just saying, ban it, stop it. It's like when you see those things about, you look, and we talked about it, handshakes after a youth sports game, and they say, we're done doing it. And your natural reaction is, that's crazy. Until you have to deal with it, and then something happens. And I swear, if I put myself in the position of an administrator, I don't like it, because I think most of it is good. I think they just get to the point and say, can't do it. It's done, and it's out. Because there'll be something that offends someone. So the easier route is to just say you can't do it anymore.
Now, on a professional basis, that's the first thing I thought of, Craig, is when they introduced the visiting players at the Knighthawks Lacrosse game, it's like, Mike Catalana sucks. Thousands of people, just in unison. It's right there. And I've been with people who think, new people to the game, like we talked about, that think that's really funny, and others that think that's not very appropriate. Where is it?
It's just a tradition that we have. The fans like to greet the visiting team with with that chant. So
it's so well done.
It is, and they choreograph their own chants, and that's, you can't pay for that.
By the way, that chant you just mentioned, when I walk by Channel 10, they do that. It's an interesting thing. It happens to me
What
all the
kind
time.
of punishment are you going to dole out to these high schoolers? A game? Is it going to cost them a game? Is it going to cost them the ability to go to a game?
Well, I guess they eject them. Because Section 5
an
has the
individual
announcement,
basis?
has a pregame announcement about sportsmanship. The kids protested as they showed up. There were two schools at least that showed up at these games, and everyone had duct taped their mouths closed and went to the game. So with the athletic associations, written on front, but. I understand.
This is why I
being
say
sympathetic
this
about
is
it.
why they just get to the point. I think now it's over the top. I mean, right? Of course, we know that you would say if it's inappropriate, don't do it, or they would stop them from doing it. What's considered inappropriate?
And we all have different answers.
Yeah,
And
Wisconsin being Wisconsin.
Most of the answers usually have an obscenity in it too. So.
that's true.
This is the original Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. This portion brought to you by the Hillside family of agencies. Like It or Not is next. As we go to break, it is time for the Turnbull Heating and Air Conditioning Trivia Question of the Week. When you're searching for a local heating and air conditioning contractor, look no further than one of the most reliable teams in the area at Turnbull Heating and Air Conditioning. Is called Turnbull at 343-2005. As we come back from the break, time for the answer to the Turnbull Heating and Air Conditioning Trivia Question of the Week. When you're searching for a local heating and air conditioning contractor, look no further than one of the most reliable teams in the area at Turnbull Heating and Air Conditioning. Just call 343-2005. See New York in a whole new way. Amtrak is offering a 15% discount for all travel inside New York State and to Montreal. Visit Amtrak.com for the See New York discount. Safe, comfortable, affordable, and easy. Amtrak. Enjoy the journey.
Be opening in a new stadium, which we are all, as ownership, very excited about. The kind of facility that's going to be built that we believe will be extraordinarily successful in the Los Angeles market. It's more than just a stadium, it's a project, an entertainment complex.
Welcome back. This is the original Rochester Press Box presented by the mighty Genesee Brew House. This portion of the Press Box brought to you by Amtrak Trains. Enjoy the journey. Michael, like it or not, Jim Boeheim's back off his suspension.
Well, I like that he's back, and I think it was an interesting dynamic to see when he gave Jay Billis that exposure and let him sit there with him, because he actually talked to him, I'll say, like an adult, and he gave him answers. Because when he talks to the local media, Jim Boeheim is a petulant child. I mean, that's the absolute truth. We see it. So we don't get that much. He talked about what it was like to be away and give the team over to Mike Hopkins. It was unfair to Mike Hopkins. I talked about it here on the show. He's running somebody else's team. This is not a good basketball team. They're okay, and when they shoot well, they're okay, but they're going to finish around 500. Jim Boeheim coaching, Mike Krzyzewski or Mike Hopkins, it doesn't matter. They're not that good. I'm glad he's back. I think that's a little unfair to Hopkins that they were 4-5, and it was a nice moment when he came back on the court. Good for him. This isn't that great of a team. So I'm happy that he's back, but he knows what he has too. This is a team that, in my opinion, is not going to make the tournament, no matter who's coaching.
Do you see him coaching it out? He says this is like the 3-year plan.
I think so. I think that the minute he leaves, I think he's going to miss it somewhat. I mean, we always, as soon as we leave a job, we miss it for a while. I think he'll be back here.
Craig, like it or not, the move to LA in the NFL.
You know what? I feel a lot of sympathy for the fans in St. Louis, but I think it's a good move for the NFL to get back to LA. They haven't been there since '94. It's a chance to be in one of the top 2 TV markets in the country. And I think the fans are really passionate out there and want a team back.
Yes, I think it takes some of the hurt off it, too, as that it used to be LA's team, at least involving the Rams and the Chargers to a lesser extent.
But I totally disagree with you, Craig, because if LA was a good football city, they would still have a franchise. Mike, you were at the Super Bowl when the Bills played in Pasadena. The only Super Bowl I've been to where the people in LA said, well, there's other stuff to do.
Yeah.
They're so indifferent. Now, I know the Dodgers led the major leagues in attendance this year, and the Angels were in the top 5, I believe. But football in LA is just better things to do, especially on a Sunday. More people are going to go to the beach than
I think the key thing, as much as I do feel for the people in St. Louis who really were passionate about it, the key thing is LA is making this somewhat of a NFL is making LA somewhat of a base out there. They're going to do a lot of things out there. So it's going to be more than just a franchise there. But the way it all went about with these 3 knucklehead owners basically playing musical chairs, playing with the emotions of 3 fan bases, we still don't know what the Raiders or the Chargers are doing. Greed is good, right? So Gordon Gekko should be the commissioner of the NFL because it's the way that league works. It's all about it. And by the way, the Pagulas voted for it. Different. Ralph always voted against every move. Every move the Pagulas voted for. I understand in this new dynamic of why they did it. It makes it a little bit sad.
Do you know the 2 owners who voted against it?
I think my impression was it was the Raiders and the Chargers who voted against it.
See, the Raiders are in trouble now. They have no place to play.
That's funny.
Yeah, it really is.
Oddly enough, yeah. But the Raiders, where are they?
Well, there's one rumor that San Diego ends up in L.A. The Raiders end up in San Diego. And by the way, if Toronto wants a team so badly, why aren't they trying to get one of these teams?
Good point.
Stevie, like it or not, the debate came up last year. The better coach, Nick Saban or Urban Meyer?
Urban Meyer. I thought you were going to compare him to
Well, Bear's
Bear
kind of
Bryant,
out there, but we had the same discussion a year ago involving Urban Meyer. Best ever.
Urban Meyer gave up on the game at one point. Remember, he said, "I can't coach. My physical health is not such that I want to coach." He was burned out. I'm going to go with Nick Saban here because he's always constant. He recruits great. He's been loyal now to Alabama, and the thing I like about Alabama is that they always score high in scholastics as well. So he looks at that as well. I think just the whole picture, it's Saban is the guy.
Quick answer.
Nick Saban.
Mike?
Nick Saban overall doing everything.
Yeah.
Game coach, I'd take Urban Meyer. I think he's better X's and O's guy, but Saban, the Nictator, is better all around as a coach. Yeah.
Very good. This is the original Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brew House. This portion brought to you by Amtrak Trains. Enjoy the journey. Unfinished business is next. The Rochester Press Box Stat of the Week, brought to you by Cariglio's Pizza, with 5 locations serving the Rochester area. Visit carigliospizza.com today.
The new caramel macchiato at Dunkin' Donuts. Let handcrafted layers of espresso, milk, and caramel-flavored swirl uplift your mood. Indulge in a hot or iced macchiato today. America runs on Dunkin'.
Welcome back. This is the original Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brew House. This portion of the Press Box, Unfinished Business, brought to you by our friends at Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. So does Stevie. Go.
You know, all these people are complaining left and right about Rex Ryan hiring his brother Rob. I have no problem with it. Let's go back to when Buddy Ryan was coaching in Arizona in the 90s. He hired both of them as his assistants. You know, family sticks together. I have no problem with it. We've seen it in college football. We've seen it in basketball. Heck, JFK even hired his brother when he was in the White House. So no big deal with Rex Ryan hiring Rob Ryan. If they get the job done, it's all about winning in the NFL. We saw Mike Tomlin last weekend give a game ball to Joey Porter after he ran on the field and caused all that difficulty. Now, I don't think Mike Tomlin's hiring his brother to coach, but I have no problems. If this helps the Bills' defense, let's bring in Rob Ryan and let him do the job.
Take a shot.
I will.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's coming up.
Yes.
All righty. Craig, what do you got?
Mine's about Cody Jamieson. Tore his Achilles in Game 1 of the playoffs last year in the East Division Finals. Usually takes a year to get back from an injury like that. 7 months later, he makes his debut, scores 19 seconds into his first game back. Wow. 2 goals, 5 assists, 200 points in his last 2 seasons, 1 MVP, 2 championship game MVPs. Only been done once ever in the history of the National Lacrosse League, and led the team to the first ever three-peat. I think when it's all said and done, he'll be considered one of the greatest ever.
You know, it's so funny. I mean, this team has brought so much talent to Rochester over the years. When we had John Grant, I thought, and he left, I thought, man, it's never going to be better than this. But you go out and you watch Jamieson, it's like there's always somebody who's been so good at it.
Yeah, I mean, he takes the team under his wing, and whenever you need a big goal, he scores it.
Excellent.
I'm going to disagree with Steve. And here's why with Rex and Rob Ryan. You know, Rex got put on notice. We can talk about ultimatums all we want, but got put on notice to make this team better. He ruined the defense this past year. So the very first move he makes, and again, I was hoping for a more humbled Rex Ryan, very first move he makes is to bring in his brother. Now, we can argue the fact that Rob Ryan is not the coach his brother is, but I think the facts bear that out. He has not had anywhere near the success his brother has. And Steve mentioned when they worked together with the old man, that was back in 1994. Haven't worked together since. If he's the guy to fix your defense, he better be good at it, because he hasn't been, and he certainly wasn't in New Orleans. My problem with it is again Rex being Rex, and it is again indulging the guy to give him the first thing he wants. But on the positive side, if you're a Bills fan, it either works and it works great, and Rex and Rob united together and make it work. Because if it doesn't work, it shows the Bills are all in on Rex Ryan, and I say he is on notice in 2016.
It bothers me, and the whole idea of the nepotism thing. It's just not. He was unemployed. It just doesn't seem to be the way to run a professional operations.
But look at the ownership. It's a husband and wife team, so there's got to be some nepotism there. It starts at the top.
Yeah, but they own the team, and they came in together and bought the team. And the problem with Rex and Rob is, again, if he's the guy, now maybe there's going to be some other moves too to do it, and it better work in that way. But did you watch New Orleans play defense this past year? I mean, they were atrocious, and Sean Payton could not wait to get him out the door. So again, it's buying in. Hey, look, they put him on notice. They gave Whaley a contract extension and let Rex hire his brother. Let's see how on notice they really are.
And I wonder if Ryan has ever been compared to Robert Kennedy before.
Well, that's true. That's true. I'm waiting to see your brother on this show maybe next week. That's what I'm waiting for.
Very good. You care a quick weigh in on the matter?
I just want him to make the playoffs.
There you go.
That's all I want.
Yep.
All is forgiven if that happens.
That's right.
Very good. Thank you, guys. This is the original Rochester Press Box, brought to you by the mighty Genesee Brew House. This portion brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. Stevie, good to have you back.
Yeah, great to be here.
Mike, good job.
2 weeks in a row, I'm really disagreeing with somebody, so this is fun.
But this is good. You know,
That's
greed is
it.
good, conflict is good.
Conflict is good. That's it.
Craig, thank you very much. Good luck down the road with the Nighthawks. We'll see you come playoff time.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
And thank you for watching the original Rochester Press Box presented by the Genesee Brew House. We'll see you next week.